endeavor.
This is Channel 7 News.
Good evening and welcome to Channel 7 Breaking News. I am Tony Pessolano, your news director, bringing you the evening news report for March 12, 2026. This evening I have our top stories for Brevard County in Central Florida. Coming out of Brevard County this evening, a barricaded suspect surrenders after a cocoa standoff. Also in the news today, Nassau clears Archimedes 2 for an April rocket launch. A special marine warning has been issued for coastal waters. There is a 12th annual Palm Bay Fair that opens today. The Cocoa police also search for a home invasion suspect. That's one of our top stories that'll be up in a moment here. We also have some new developments from Florida Power and Light utility scam warning in coordination with National Consumer Protection Week. We're going to get to that in a moment. So our first story we're going to start with today, our big top headline, is from Nassau. They officially gave the go from Artemis 2 mission following a high-stakes flight readiness review. After a string of technical setbacks that pushed the mission out of an original March window, the path is now clear for humanity's first crew trip to the moon in over 50 years. Here are the specific details from today's announcement at Kennedy Space Center. The target date Nassau is officially aiming for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 with a liftoff time of 6:24. Backup windows for that time frame. If the weather or technical issues cause a scrub, there are additional opportunities between April 2nd and April 6th. The rollout, the massive 322-foot Space Launch System rocket, is scheduled to begin its slow trek from Vehicle Assembly Building to Launch Pad 39B next Thursday, March 19th. The overcoming technical hurdles, the mission has been in the shop, the VAB, since late February. Engineers successfully fixed a helium flow issue in the rocket's upper stage, which is caused by a faulty steel. They also spent the last few weeks replacing batteries and flight termination system and the core stage to ensure everything is fresh for the April attempt. There is a commander, a pilot, and a mission specialist on board. The new vision, interestingly, Nassau's new ambassador, Jared Isaacman, recently announced a major strategy shift to avoid long gaps between flights. They've added extra practice mission in Earth orbit, which means the actual lunar landing is now slated for Archimedes IV in 2028. Note for space fans, if you're planning to head over to the Titusville or Cocoa Beach piers for the launch, keep in mind that the viewing tickets for the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex are already sold out, so you'll want to scout your public viewing spots early. Now, we also have some major breaking headlines this evening with a Cocoa Beach home invasion as crime in the city of Cocoa is on the rise. This home invasion, a new incident occurred earlier in the week when two masked individuals reportedly forced their way into a residence. The confrontation quickly turned violent, resulting in two victims being shot. The victim status, both individuals were transported to a local hospital, while their specific conditions haven't been released today. Initial Reports indicated they were in a serious but stable condition. Cocoa police have stated that based on the evidence found at the scene, they believe this was a targeted incident rather than a random act of violence. This often implies suspects may have had prior connection to the victims or the specific location. The investigation and suspects, as of this afternoon, no arrests have been made and the suspects remain at large. Forensic teams have been processing the home for DNA and ballistic evidence. Investigators are also canvassing the neighborhood to collect surveillance footage from Ring doorbells and security cameras. Police are urging anyone who saw suspicious vehicles or individuals in the area at the time of the shooting to come forward. You can provide tips anonymously through Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. And that is the Cocoa home invasion. We also have some more details on the suspect with the barricade incident that happened earlier, and a Cocoa standoff on Ohio Street today was high tension, but ultimately a peaceful resolution to a police pursuit. Here are the deeper details on what happened. The situation began when patrol officers attempted to contact a wanted man on multiple felonies. Instead of complying, the suspect fled on foot and barricaded himself inside a residence on Ohio Street. The response was because the suspect's potential for violence was unknown at the time. Cocoa police established a heavy perimeter. They had to call in the Cocoa PD SWAT team, crisis negotiators, and the Brevard County Sheriff's Office for additional support. Neighbors were advised to stay indoors as negotiators spent approximately 2 hours speaking with the man through the barricade. The resolution, despite the intense tactical presence, the standoff ended without any shots fired or injuries. Crisis negotiators successfully convinced the suspect to walk out of the home and surrender. Police later confirmed that the suspect was unarmed and had been alone inside the house during the entire ordeal. This individual was taken into custody based on existing felony warrants, stealing and stolen property, and altering the vehicle identification number on a motorcycle. He has since been transported to the Brevard County Jail. Current status for crime in Cocoa for 2026 rankings. Cocoa is often cited among the top 10 most dangerous cities in Florida, with a violent crime rate of approximately 1,082 per 100,000 residents. And that concludes our news for what's going on in Cocoa. I also want to get on to this top story coming out of Florida Power and Light this evening. There are a couple new developments. For a classroom makeover grant from Florida Power and Life, the Ventness Charitable Foundation have awarded 50,000 classroom makeover grants to elementary schools in Palm Beach County. FPL grant was awarded to South Olive Elementary in West Palm Beach. The schools will use the funds to update technology and create innovative learning spaces for science, technology, engineering, and math STEM education over the next year. Now, there's also a utility scam warning coming out from FPL this evening. In coordination with the National Consumer Protection Week, FPL issued a new warning to customers about increasing imposter scams. Scammers are impersonating FPL employees by phone, text, and email, and are even manipulating internet search results to lead customers to fake websites. FPL urges customers to verify their payment request by contacting them directly through official channels. We're going to head to a new slide here, break, and I'm going to be back for financial news this evening in a moment.
This is Channel 7 News.
back this evening with the financial report here on SDTV Channel 7 News with Tony Pesolano, your news director, bringing you the latest report on inflation. This evening here, inflation is actually released by the latest data of Labor Bureau of Statistics on March 11th, 2026. The annual inflation held steady at 2.4% in February, unchanged from January. This matches economists' expectations and marks the lowest annual reading since May 2025. Here are the key takeaways from the report. As you can see, it was a unchanged 2.4% from January, and the core CPI, food and energy is 2.5% unchanged from January till 2026 as well. On a month-to-month basis, consumer prices increased by 0.3%. In February, slightly faster than the 0.2% gain in January. Primary drivers of price changes were shelter. The index for shelter rose 0.2% in February, was the single largest contributor to the monthly increases on all items over the past 12 months. Shelter costs have risen by 3%. Energy prices have rebounded, with gasoline increasing by 0.8% for the next month. However, gasoline prices are still down 5.6% compared to February 2025. Food prices rose 0.4% on a monthly basis. The annual rate for food is 3.1%. Impact on Federal Reserve and interest rates. The steady but persistent inflation rate reinforces market expectations that the Federal Reserve will keep its benchmark federal funds rate at its current range of 3.5% to 3.75% at all its upcoming March meeting. Policymakers remain cautious, particularly due to potential energy prices to surge again, depending on the ongoing geopolitical instability on the Middle East. Now we're going to move forward with the stock report this evening. And our Dow Industrials closes at $46,677, down 1.56%. The S&P 500 closes at $6,672, down 1.5%. The NASDAQ closes at $22,311, down 1.78%. We're going to go ahead and get our weather segment pulled up now in a moment.
This is Channel 7 News.
We're back here on SDTV with our upcoming weather for this week. We have a cool down coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday coming up the next week. It's going to be 66 degrees for the high and 69 degrees for Wednesday. We're still going to get that 80 degrees for Monday. Now we're going to go ahead and pull up our satellite and radar, as you guys had seen earlier in our quick overview, but I'm going to go ahead and give you a little more of a report on what's going on of our satellite here. As you can see, there's a little bit of light rain, just a little bit over Brevard County and the Tampa area. Not too much to be concerned about. Moving into our temperatures, we had a nice 83 degree of a forecast high today in Miami. Nice 75 degrees in Jacksonville. Our lows in Cleveland, New York, and Washington were around 41 to 43 degrees. We also had forecast highs of 82 degrees, 83 degrees in Los Angeles, 70 degrees of a forecast high over in San Francisco today. Moving to our temperatures as of 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, we do have 85 degrees in Miami, 68 degrees in Orlando, 74 degrees in Jacksonville, 57 degrees in Charleston. We also have 62 degrees in Mobile, 64 degrees in New Orleans. So pretty good weather warming up for that springtime that you're all looking forward to. National satellite, as you can see, there's a lot of clouds. Florida's covered. It hasn't been a really sunny day, and the sunshine state today. The whole state is pretty covered up in clouds. The whole country pretty much is covered up in clouds, as you can see on the map here. As you can see, our national wind speeds, pretty much not too much to report on here, a little bit more aggressive up in the Midwest, not so much down here in the Southeast. Moving over to our tropical satellite, we also have that up for you. Now, these are our temperatures for Friday morning tomorrow. We have a 66 degrees in Titusville, 62 degrees in New Samara Beach, 60 degrees in Daytona Beach, 66 in Melbourne, 54 in Palm Bay. We also have a 62 degrees in Orlando, 54 in Ocala, 59 in Leesburg, and 52 degrees in Winter Haven tomorrow morning is what is expected to be. We also have our forecast lows. Our forecast lows are expected to be 71 degrees, 53 in Jacksonville. The lows up in New York, Cleveland, Washington, all 33 degrees. Now moving over to the West Coast, our lows 62 in Los Angeles, 59 in Las Vegas, 50 in San Francisco, and those are the low temperatures right now. Moving into our regular temperatures throughout the country, we have 39 in Cleveland, 35 in New York, 44 in Washington, 57 in Atlanta, 80 in Los Angeles, 71 in San Francisco, 79 in Las Vegas, 91 in Phoenix, 66 in Houston, 64 in New Orleans, and 57 degrees in Memphis. And now we have our golf and satellite radar up here, giving you a full preview of what's going on right now. I also want to discuss the 2026 hurricane season forecast. So despite the numbers, please remember that it only takes one storm to knock you out. So always be ready and prepared during hurricane season. So these are the numbers, folks. Our temperatures and weather. And I'm also going to be back in one short moment with our story on the Palm Bay Fair.
Ready, camera 2.
This is Today in Florida.
Good evening, folks. We're back here on Channel 7 with SDTV. We just want to go over the details of the Palm Bay Fair officially kicking off today at 5 p.m. at the Space Coast Harley-Davidson Fairgrounds. This year's event features a full midway of rides, local food vendors, and free shows. It's a staple for the South County community and will run through the upcoming weekends. So we just want to let everybody know out there before we go ahead and give our good night that there is a fair going on down in Palm Bay.
This is Channel 7 News.
And that concludes our evening broadcast. I am Tony Pesolano, your news director, bringing you the 8 o'clock evening report here on SDTV Channel 7. Have a good night.
Setting camera 2.
This is Today in Florida.